Tuesday. Look at your face.
Happy Tuesday.
You sound so much better. I'm so glad that you're back.
I'm like really teetering. I'm on my 4th antibiotic cycle. I just picked them up today. Very exciting for me.
You're gonna be like Superwoman after all of this.
Yeah.
But well, good. Well, welcome back to the Broadway Fan Club. Amber's been doing all the digital stuff. It's been really great this week while I've been playing catch up because I have been busting my butt for this incredible show that I cannot wait to introduce you guys to tonight called Facings, the Musical, which opens in like 8 days, next Thursday in New York, Off-Broadway at Urban Stages. Cannot wait to introduce you to the cast of characters because our production team is just incredible, hands down. And some of the most delightful people I've ever worked with. And that's not because they're just listening. And right now it's true. So welcome to the Broadway Fan Club podcast presents Facings the Musical. I will play you guys a little snippet before we do our introduction. Let's get this rockin' and a rollin'. Got all of my open windows. It's fantastic. Here we go.
On the sales side, screen will know my name. I'm gonna make it on the sales side. I'm gonna wide play this way. What am I becoming? I'm unrecognizable. I don't like me anymore. Am I so uncaring? I can't go on bearing this life. When I open up this door, this world is gonna change for me. I'm gonna seize this moment. I'm gonna pitch, I'm gonna sell, I'm gonna charm till all down. Rosario, Rosario, 7 letters so divine. Rosario, Rosario, Rosario.
I'm sitting here dancing and I cannot help it. It's just so good because there's some upbeat Latin movements. There's a lot
of like a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything all rolled into one in the best way possible. So I guess we should start to make the introductions. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Book, music, and lyrics by the one and only Aaron Morrill. Hello, Aaron.
Hey there, Heather. Hey, Amber.
Hey.
So, our little toe tamping, are you enjoying our seat dancing here?
Yeah, I'm glad you like the music.
We're hoping the whole theater is going to be doing that at this point. We're going to bring on director and choreographer Alex Sanchez.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for being here. We're so happy to talk to you, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your sleep schedule to help us out.
What sleep schedule?
Hi.
Sleep when we're dead. And the one and only Caitlin McNeilage, executive producer of this beautiful show called Facings the Musical. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going great. I think we're all really excited. This is such a passion project, and I've known it from the very moment that I talked to Aaron. Cannot wait to share with the rest of the world what everybody has been working on. So, Aaron, if you wouldn't mind, give us your best passionate selling points of Facings the Musical and kind of give us a little bit of that backbone we need.
Well, briefly, it's a love story set in a natural food store between two people that normally wouldn't meet. But natural food stores, especially big natural food stores like national chains, bring together lots of different kinds of people who go to shop and people that go in to work. And so this is a love story between two people who probably wouldn't have met each other otherwise. It is not just any natural food store, but it's Rolling Fields. It's the New York store in a national chain, the big national.
Inspired by Whole Foods type stores.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, it does draw some inspiration from Whole Foods. That's sort of a backstory. And the protagonists are Emma, who is a passionate, creative, idealistic, sort of rebellious young woman who's got a brand of kefir, which is like a yogurt. Some of you may have seen it on the shelves.
It's delicious. I actually really like it.
Yeah. My wife drinks it all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it's she's trying to get it into this store, Rolling Fields, and the other protagonist, the other co-star is Javier, who is a Colombian national. He's a journalist who is seeking asylum in the U.S. and he's working at Rolling Fields just to pay his bills while he awaits a decision. He's had to flee Colombia from political violence. He was a journalist who was threatened, and I hope I'm not giving away too much here, but
not at all.
He's he's there for a reason, but he and Emma meet, and they're very different people. She's open, curious, inquisitive. He's a little bit cynical, a little bit standoffish at first, and little by little they develop a relationship. And I don't want to give away the whole story, but lots of stuff happens. There are a lot of people in this. Emma's got a competitor that's kind of ruthless, that's kind of hoping to see her fail, and there's a store.
I hate when people do that. You got to lift everyone up.
That happens.
It happens.
And a store manager who's a problem, especially around women, especially around pretty women. And Emma's pretty, and there's Carlita. She's a Dominican from the Bronx. She's tough. She's sassy. She's a truth teller, and she doesn't take any guff from anyone. There are a whole cast of characters, the kind of people you would only meet in a New York, a big New York institution where you have lots of different people from different backgrounds, and that's why the music. You mentioned the music is different, is diverse. Well,
yeah, it's a good melting pot.
The music is as diverse as the characters in the show, and that's why I wrote the music to reflect the people that sing the songs. So that's why it's diverse. So we have some characters from Latin America. They're not going to sing, folk music from Vermont. They're going to sing.
They might.
That probably wouldn't be that authentic. They're going to sing the music they grew up listening to. And so that's the way the song, the music is laid out. So that's kind of the story. And I don't want to give away too much because lots of stuff happens, and it's a love story, and good and bad stuff happens, but hopefully, people will feel like it ends in a good place.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important because it does draw up inspiration. I know that you had, we were talking about your wife, Liz, with Fizzy Lizzie's, really kind of helping drive that storyline home. And I don't know if you want to show a picture of Liz. She's so cute. Let me see if I pull this up. All right. Here we go. The beautiful Fizzy Lizzie herself. So do you want to touch a little bit on Liz?
So this musical really draws from, is inspired by Liz, and draws partly from, the inspiration I got from her. She was an entrepreneur, just like Emma.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
You got a cat. That's great. I was inspired by my wife. She was an entrepreneur, very much like Emma in the show, and worked really hard to get her product into Whole Foods. So I had watched as she battled to get, her product, Fizzy Lizzie, into Whole Foods.
Sure.
And I saw the politics that take place in these big stores and the power that people use when they have it. Sometimes I don't want to dish on Whole Foods because everybody was great at Whole Foods, but
of course
not everybody always is great. And so you see the good and the bad of people. But But so I drew on that, and I also drew on my experience living in Latin America. So I was comfortable with that. I felt very much like I wanted to write a story that involved Latin America. And I drew on my experience getting to know people that worked at Whole Foods who came from these very diverse backgrounds. So I helped Liz with her business for several years, and I got to see up close how these stores work, and what the little dramas and the interesting stories that people bring. And so that was it was a combination of my being inspired by Liz, but inspired by the workers in these stores. And then of course there's the political angle. I mean, there is the issue of Colombia. I lived in South America for 2 years, and in a bamboo hut when I was in the Peace Corps. And I got to know and love, the culture of Latin America. And I also followed it very closely. And so I was really aware of what was going on in that neighborhood. And I was aware of, some of the
inner workings.
Some of the struggles and some of the movements, and there were right-wing movements and left-wing movements.
Sure.
And it seemed, and we've all met the cab driver that's the doctor, or the PhD, or the people doing jobs that are way, I don't want to say beneath them, but they've got more training than you would think for the job they're doing sometimes.
Right.
And this is the immigrant story. And so Javier in this show, Javier is a journalist. He's a really smart guy. But like so many immigrants, he's got to do a job. He's got to do whatever he can do, whatever he can get a job doing. He's not going to write English. His English isn't good enough. He's not going to go to work for the Times. So he takes a job at Whole Foods. Not at Whole Foods, but that's a Freudian slip.
That's okay, for Rolling Fields.
At Rolling Fields. And so that's what inspired me, these stories.
I think it's important too. And then Alex has the big task of kind of uploading your brain into his, and then making sure that it's executed on stage so that you're a happy camper.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I got on board, Aaron and I would have countless conversations. I would pick his brain about kind of what you're doing, finding out what his inspiration was, and everything that he explained to you, he explained to me. And then I take it even further and talk about each character, and what was sort of the inspiration for each character, so that I can understand how to make the actors understand how to express or how to play these individuals. And
Right.
We have, even to this day, even today, we went knee deep into a conversation about Javier, one of the characters in the show, and Brad. So it's continuing always.
And you're saying that you've already gotten through Act 1 for today, so congratulations.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we finally today completed everything. We had to do it not always in order. I had to take some stuff out of order, but finally we were able to piece everything together.
Right.
And we started our first kind of rough run through of Act 1 today, which we'll have to complete tomorrow. But now we're into Act 2, so we're actually in pretty good shape right now.
Would you say we're rolling along?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Rolling
along.
Yep. Exactly.
I love it. It's a challenge too. And then Caitlin here at the helm as EP. Caitlin has been such a good ear to kind of chew and kind of listen to, and it's so incredible because everyone has such heart for this show. And Caitlin, you've been around for a while with the show too, huh?
Yeah. I sort of assisted, was my first sort of role. I was, I think, a line producer, an associate producer back for a 29-hour reading of the show several years ago, and then eventually sort of took over a producing role, helping Aaron try to bring the show to life. And we went through a lot of different ideas and a lot of different strategies about where to try to bring the show and sort of what the next logical step for the show was. We did a Green Room 42 concert back in
Green Room 42. What a great day.
Yeah, it was a great experience back in, I think that was early 2023. So yeah, just every step of the way, all these little developmental productions and readings and concerts, and just sort of, Aaron's made lots of changes and tightened things and cut songs and added things in. So the show itself has developed over the several years that I've been part of it. And then the process and the team and the sort of developmental trajectory has developed a lot as well. So I'm really excited to finally see a fully realized stage production of it. Right? The first fully staged production of it was before I was on board. So I'm really excited to finally see this thing come to life.
Yeah, I think it's so fascinating. I think we'll all take a collective sigh of relief once the opening number starts and the curtains go in. I think it's going to be really key. It's always a challenge too, because you have to make sure you find the right team. Besides the cast, you're going to make sure the team comes together, but everybody has their part to play. And before the show, Alex and I were talking about it, kind of that magical recipe of finding individuals that kind of make all the cogs work. And then when they finally come together, it's truly magic. So it's very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great team assembled for this one too. I think this is just, we're so lucky to have
thanks so much, Kayla.
So lucky to have you, Heather. So lucky to have Alex on board. Yeah, this amazing cast every single day in rehearsal. I feel like Aaron and I are just like elbowing each other behind the table. Like, do you hear how great they sound? Do you see what they're doing?
Right. And we've been posting some of the rehearsal photos on Instagram and Facebook too. So if anybody wants to see behind the scenes, for Instagram, it's at Facings Musical. And if they want to buy tickets right now, they should, urbanstages.org. But yeah, the rehearsal process, let's talk a little bit about that, because it is always a challenge to find like that good balance, especially in production. Like, is the producer going to be there every day? Is the creator going to be there every day? Is it going to be, the director is the only person that's there? Like, can you guys kind of walk us through how rehearsal has been? It seems from every photo and video and phone call that I've had from, the team, it really just seems like everything is so collectively falling into place. But it takes a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yeah, we did. We had a lot of meetings, Aaron, Caitlin, and myself. And then once we were putting the team together, the designers, we started to form a plan in the studio. What's really wonderful is that we get to have the creator of the show, Aaron, be in the room. And that's really important because there are constant changes happening every day. I think I made like 3 or 4 changes even today. And it's great to have the writer there to be able to, 1, approve, and 2, be able to support that or to rewrite something, on short notice. And it makes the changes that much easier. If Aaron wasn't there, we would have to put a pause on it. We would have to wait. But the fact that he's there every day, and the fact that I'm able to like just turn around and say, "Oh, Aaron, what do you think of this or this line or that?" makes the process a lot faster. I think that's one of the reasons why we're moving along so quickly.
I think that's important too. Oh, go ahead, Aaron. So I'm sorry.
No, it's been a magical process for me. I'm just pinching myself, and I'm in my happy place right now because I get to watch Alex, who is, just phenomenal in the way he directs and brings out, the characters that I've put on the page. He sits with the actors and really gets them to think about, the intentions and the, all the layers of emotion that are taking place in the scene. And sometimes, I'll be thinking, wow, he thought of things that I didn't think of as I was writing it. There are layers.
That's why he does what he does.
Layers that I didn't even really pick up on as I wrote it. He's going even deeper. I think this is what some literary critics do. They go deeper into the texts and they find stuff. And Alex is always finding this great stuff. So it's really amazing. But these actors, I'm just bowled over by how intuitive they are, how skilled they are. They're young, they're incredibly talented. We have J. Antonio Rodriguez playing Javier. We have Belinda Allen playing Emma. These are both people that are on the cusp of greatness. I really believe that. They are on the cusp of being on everybody's, lips, because these guys are so good.
And it's an equity showcase, which I think
is an equity showcase. They sing like You can't believe they dance and they act. I mean, the gestures and the skills that they bring to my characters are just, I said to Belinda, I said, I wrote this and it was in black and white, and you put it into, living color for me.
Aww.
You have brought this out, and it's just a magical experience for a writer to see that happen. So I'm over the moon, and Alex has been doing an unbelievable job.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's so key when you have a team that can pick up on, that character development, but when the cast is like, wait, but I think this is how so-and-so would laugh, or I think that, no, they're a left-handed person versus a right-handed person, or they would toss their hair. There's so many nuances that really drives that development and that realism, because it's a person in front of you. So yeah, I mean, to hear it going from words to being on stage, it's just, so it's kind of, again, I think it's magic. Theater is so incredible, and to be able to make it accessible to people is also key. I know that we've been talking about, we're going to be doing student discounts, which I think is really important. We want people to come see the show, but we're here to really kind of show the show off and let people visualize and see it and experience it and leave better for it too, because there's little peppers of different things that are going on that I think are so relevant in today's day and age, that it's so key that we're able to bring this in a theatrical presentation where it's not so directed at one side or the other, and it's not the serious drama. There is humor behind that. So can we touch a little bit on that, Alex or Caitlin, if you want to talk?
Yeah, I would love to. And Aaron or Caitlin, there is a lot of humor. It's a funny musical. There's some great quips. It's a very almost like very New York hip, funny, and there are some serious topics, of course, but we really, I think probably about 70% of it is very funny, and the others are more like really good, solid moments of sentiment and love and care. I think the one thing that surprised me, and I will share this, is when I first read the show, I didn't see a lot of elements of dancing, and oddly enough, as we were going through it, all of a sudden, like, I started adding so much choreography to it, where this is now becoming almost a dance musical in a way, because there are so many moments where dance becomes a language that can actually help to tell and push the story forward. And it also kind of becomes a cultural thing too, with how young this cast is and the characters and stuff like that. So not only are you going to get great songs and great acting and singing, but you're also going to get a lot of dancing too. There's a lot of dancing.
And let's talk about the dancing for a little bit, if you guys are good with that. Alex, your background, I mean, your resume on its own, just in the world of choreography and dance, is extraordinary. Most importantly, you've got Dance Magazine's 25 to Watch. You've done a lot of Broadway, Off-Broadway, the 2025 SDC Callaway Award finalist for choreography, 2024 Drama Desk. I mean, there's so much. And it's an interesting balance for director choreo, because they're very different, but they're so uniquely blended together. How are you kind of navigating that?
Well, I think that so much of directing is about looking at stage pictures and creating those pictures. That's why it's not a mistake when you start out as a choreographer that you do become a director. I mean, I think about people like Bob Fosse, who started out as a choreographer, Jerome Robbins, who started out as a choreographer, Agnes DeMille. They were all choreographers. But the relationship, I think, is very much the same, because that's what you're doing. You're trying to create pictures and movement within a scene, within the scope of a scene, much like you do within the scope of a dance. It's just a different way of doing it. And I think to navigate both is actually much easier sometimes when you are the director.
You don't have to deal with one or the other. You get to be both.
Well, yeah, and I think because stylistically, it's hard to get if you have a separate director, a separate choreographer. One of the things that I try to do as a choreographer working for a director is I try to pick up on it's always the director's vision anyway. So I always try to pick up stylistically what the director is envisioning so that I can match that, so that the choreography doesn't look like it's its own thing, that it looks like it's just an extension of what the director did. As a direct choreographer, I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
I already have this sort of style and voice that I work with. So in that sense, those things become much more even stylistically. But yeah, I think that navigating both what is interesting, however, and this is what I love about new material, new musicals, and I mean new musicals. This is not based off of a musical that's based off of a movie.
Right.
This is like
new
an
intellectual property.
original thought inspired by life, and it's my favorite kind of musical. It's something that is inspired by real life that's not taken from another story. And what's really great about it, or the thing that I find that's I'm trying to navigate, is to make sure that I seep out the story in the best way possible. So it takes a little bit away from maybe my duties as a choreographer, per se, my duties as a director, because then I become a dramaturgical person too.
Right.
So, but I think, by doing that though, and doing all three, I'm able then to create like one stylistic voice to be able to present and express the show in the best way possible.
No, I think that's really, it's a unique addition, because it is, you do kind of have to fight between choreo and director, and okay, well, this isn't my vision. And, it is so much better to have Aaron in the room, because it is his words, but now you're translating them into something that's multicultural and understandable. We're talking about dance. Yeah, somebody might not understand the language, but the language of dance, I think everybody can and really see the passion behind and get a good connotation of. Now, Caitlin, you're in this room every day with these guys. Talk to us about that process, being in the room where it happens. And has there been something that, not to put Alex and Aaron on the spot, but something that has been cut that you really wish was back, or something that they added that you were just like, yes, exactly this?
Oh gosh, that's a good question.
I know.
I mean, definitely, I think, some producers would not necessarily be in the room all day, every day, but I really like to be there. And, it's so much easier to sort of be sitting right there if the stage manager has a question, or if Aaron and I need to, work something out, or
if I text you for something and you're
or
like,
if you text me, yes, I can get an answer faster if I'm there. And sometimes I have my head very buried in my computer at rehearsal, doing producing work and sending emails and coordinating things. So it's, or sometimes I'm having to step out into the hall to take phone calls, or I'll miss certain things. But today I really closed my laptop and just sort of watched when they started running Act 1. And it was so delightful, because there were some moments of the show that I had really watched in rehearsal and been paying attention to. Some things I had either been out of the room or had, just been working on my computer and hadn't paid much attention to. And so to really sort of watch it start to come to life was so exciting. And yeah, I can't think of anything that, has been cut that I wish was back, or vice versa. I mean, I just think this is the best version of the script and the best version of the story that, I have seen or read or been part of since I've been on board. So I feel really excited about that. And, yeah, I mean, obviously I know the show really well, and there were so many moments today where I was just laughing out loud, and I was cracking up, and I was smiling, without realizing it. I'm sure the actors in the back were watching us watch the show and just kind of laughing, because I know that my face was I was really going through it all with the actors. But yeah, it's just that kind of show. You feel that humor, and you're laughing, and you're having a great time, and then all of a sudden it gets sort of, it tugs at your heartstrings and gets really sentimental, and I'm almost crying.
Emotional roller coaster.
Yes. And then the next moment I'm giddy in the corner about the rom-com of it all. So it really takes you through so many different emotions, and it was so exciting today to start to really see it come together as a more cohesive piece, and see bits of choreography I hadn't seen yet, or I hadn't maybe paid attention to as closely, and just, I mean, yeah, I was just grinning in ear to ear. I'm really excited to continue to see what happens with Act 2 work.
Right. which will be done by opening night next Thursday. April 24th.
It better be.
Oh yeah, knock on wood. I will. Fingers crossed, arms crossed, eyes crossed. No, we'll be great. I
have no fear.
You know, you kind of talk about pulling on the heartstrings a little bit, like getting this emotional roller coaster. I kind of want you guys to bounce off and say what you really want people to experience during the show. I mean, obviously we can't tell people you're going to be laughing, you're going to be crying, you're going to be this, but what is that overall feeling that you want them to experience or really take away from the show, that when they leave, they're going, oh my God, blah, 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 or like this moment here, like what do you hope for our audience to really be able to connect with?
I would say these days we all need to be in touch with empathy. And
Definitely.
That's a great way of putting it.
And I hope that all of these characters, that everybody who sees this show will feel empathy for at least one of the characters and really connect with one of the characters. It may be all of them, but they're all going through things that every one of us go through. You know, Javier is far from home. We've all been far from home and wished that we were, you know, wish that we could be home and been separated from people we love.
Right.
And Emma, you know, is conflicted because there are expectations that have been put on her, and she's forging ahead with her business and sort of charting her own path. And despite, you know, what her mother wants her to do, and what society might expect of her.
Sure.
You know, Carlita is this wonderful, tough Dominican lesbian from the Bronx who is in love with a woman who she thinks maybe is a little above her, like, maybe a little too unreachable, because she's maybe, what's the word? Just not, beyond her, not in her league, or,
like unattainable, out of
her league, unattainable.
Sure.
And so Carlita is struggling with how do I get together with this woman that I have this deep crush on. So every character, and then we've got, and one other character is this person that is really so competitive that she's trying to undermine Emma. And, I'm sure we've all wanted at times to undermine somebody that was going to.
All the time it happens.
We've hoped, that Schadenfreude thing, we've hoped that we could keep this person that we're competing with from succeeding so we could succeed. And, in spite of, we'd all like to think of ourselves as angels, but we all have these tendencies. So there, every character, but there are things about that character that we can empathize with too. Things that issues that she has, that she's dealing with, that make her human and somebody we should empathize with. So that's certainly one of the most important things.
I love that. And I'll tell you, one of our loyal listeners, Cheyenne, she said, just imagine how much better a society would be if we all displayed even the tiniest amount of empathy. I think it's so important. So I love that you touched on that, Aaron, because it doesn't cost anything to be kind. And I always say, like, you don't know what somebody else's journey or someone else's story is. And then when you find out, like, well, the bully at school is being bullied at home, like the stereotypical, or, in our case, you've got somebody was adopted, who was already faced with challenges, and like kind of forging forward, and you kind of learn what the fire is behind her story too. So I think there is definitely something to resonate, connect with each one of the characters in the show, but empathy is 100% something I would love for people to take away as well, for sure. Alex, you're nodding your head. What do you think? What is your?
I agree with everything you're saying. I think empathy really touches a huge and important part of the show. I for myself, am wanting people to come out of it being inspired and courageous about making choices. Because so much of what not just the protagonist, but even some of the other characters, so much of their struggles is about making courageous choices. Mm-hmm. And ultimately for Emma, it's two of them. One is the choice that she is good enough or worthy of being an entrepreneur and having her own business, and how she struggles with what she hears from her mother, which is always negative,
Mm-hmm.
to what she holds on to from her father, which is follow your dreams, you know. So there's a wonderful struggle, and ultimately she chooses the courageous path. And same thing with Javier, you know, having to make a choice of leaving the country. Why did he leave the country? Maybe not just to protect himself, but to protect his family.
Right.
You know, but he so desperately wants to go back, and ultimately, you know, he has to come to terms with what choices he's going to make. Same thing with what Aaron was mentioning with Brittany. You know, so every character in the show and Carlita, they all are vacillating back and forth with these choices to be courageous. You know, and I would love people to be inspired to make those courageous choices by the end of the show.
I love that, because it puts, I don't want to say like a warm hug on a show, but when you're saying you want your audience to leave, you know, empathetic and inspired and courageous, like that is just, it's such a build of character.
Mhm.
Because there are things like what Aaron's written that you've now turned into a deeper storyline, but you'll never know someone's, you know, what happened in 8th grade, you know, on the school playground, you know, before the bus came. But these performers know exactly how their character would act. And then it really brings that forward when they're saying a line or in a scene. So you are kind of wrangling these emotions. And I think that's really, really key to know that you want that courageousness. I think that's beautifully said. So thank you for that. And Caitlin, what about you, my friend?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll say yes, all of the above.
Well, I am going to say I will echo what they both said, but and my answer is pretty similar, but I think I would say I want people to leave feeling hope. I think I think there's so much negativity and division and anger in our country right now, and I also think it seems like every news article and news story that we see is just increasingly negative and depressing. And I think I want people to leave feeling like they have some hope that we as a society, we as a country, we as a world, if you will, can actually trust and believe that deep down everyone, you know, there's goodness and kindness and love in everyone, and that you know, hopefully we can count on each other to sort of show each other that love a little bit more.
Right.
So yeah, I really want people to leave feeling hopeful about the future, hopeful about society maybe, and how we can sort of come together despite our differences and hope for a better tomorrow, if you will. It's a little cheesy, but
TM that.
Right? Now, I'm not going to ask the complete obvious question, but I am going to ask the most obvious question. I'm so intrigued by the title. What does facings mean to you, and how does it tie into the story?
Well, I wouldn't know what a facing was if I hadn't worked with Liz.
Okay.
With Fizzy Lizzy, our goal was always to get as many facings as we could in any store Fizzy Lizzy was in. So what is a facing? A facing is when you look at a shelf, it is that bottle of soda. And if there are 4 bottles across, you have 4 facings. If there are 8 bottles, you have 8 facings. So every bottle that you see as a customer, or every item on the shelf, is a facing. And the wider it is, the more facings you have, the more boxes or bottles. For each one is called a facing. Each item is called a facing, and you just want real estate. So it's really, facings is like about
a monopolization. Yeah,
it's really real estate on the shelf.
Okay.
And you only know that, you know, if you only know that term if you've worked in the business. But we struggled with the name. It's actually, this show has had 3 names, and it started as Facings, and now it's Facings again. We went through 2 other names. But I ultimately thought, and I think a lot of people agreed, that it's kind of cool to have a mysterious name,
Yeah.
That people don't know what that is. Like, they cock their head, and then they get into the show.
Mm-hmm.
There's an aha moment. They go, oh, now I know
That's
what a
what it
facing.
is. And it's multifaceted too, because yes, it could be the physical facings, and then
Sure, absolutely. The faces we show each other.
Right.
People to So we just decided, and it was so specific to the industry that we were talking about. It just seemed like a natural name for the show.
And plus, now I feel like I know this like exclusively cool thing,
Right.
so it works out well.
Well, now you're you're
I'm in the
qualified
club.
to work
Yeah.
You're in the club. You're in the cool club.
Natural food store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I was like, I know she's got her whole slew.
I do have more questions. Ooh, I like this one. Was there a specific visual moment or concept that really unlocks the world of facings, or really opened up the world of facings for the team?
Can you rephrase that again, or ask that question again?
Yeah. Was there like a specific moment when you guys were, working out either the lines or the set design or staging, that you had like your aha moment, like this is facings, like it's here?
I will speak on that if I may.
Of course.
I was reading the script over and over again, and counted something like 23 different locations within the musical. And at Urban Stages, I was like, how are we going to create 23 different locations? And then I was looking on Aaron's website for facings, and there are some pictures of the last incarnation of it, or no, the one that they did a workshop of, and there were some items from the store, and I saw the forgive me for calling it a refrigerator, but it's I think it's the casing, the cold case.
The cold case.
Yeah, the cold case. And then I was thinking, what is like the one thing in New York that is common, interior and exterior? And I came up with the brick, right? A brick wall, a brick facade, whether it's an exterior building or an interior of a building. Brick is always very prominent. And so that's when I had the aha moment. Aha. So when we're in Rolling Fields, we have this wall, we call it the wall, the big wall, where side A would be the casings, will represent Rolling Fields, and then side B will turn it around, and it's the brick facade, which is a brick facade that could be the interior of a building or the exterior of a building, so that we could do we have a lot of interior and exterior scenes that are happening. And so that for me was like the big aha moment of how I can create all of these different spaces. It's a movable wall. It can live in the corner, in the center, downstage, upstage. I turn it around, it becomes a fridge, and then along with some other set pieces, we can create some really, really cool locations.
That sounds so awesome.
Yeah.
Aaron, Caitlin, did you have an aha moment of visuality?
I think I leave the visuals to these guys. I leave the visuals to Alex.
I have a selfish question because I only know my answer. But is there a certain line or phrase in the show that is either unexpected or just something that really resonates with you?
Ooh.
There's so many of them.
Right. Well, mine's I've got a fetish, and that's just I'll leave it there. Yeah.
Yours is what?
That's very you.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's in great context.
Yeah.
I think there's just a lot of epiphanies, a lot of epiphany moments in the show. Being, that they're like life lessons. There's a lot of little things that come out that are like, huh, that's interesting. It's such a human story that you're gonna find something that connects with you. You really are. you're also going to find something that maybe connects with someone who's close to you as well. Oh yeah, that's like this person that I know, or that's like my wife or my husband or my partner or whatever. I mean, there's going to be a lot of moments like that in the show, I think.
I love how that's written too, because the characters are so well-rounded. Like they're not just these like, one-dimensional, two-dimensional characters. It's now been brought to life so much that somebody is going to find something to connect with. And I think it'll speak to a lot of people. I know now a question that's come up a little bit, and I've kind of helped guide, is people are concerned that it's really heavy on the immigration. It's super political. How have you guys found navigating that tone across the show while still keeping it light, without going into too much political?
Well, let me talk about that.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think it's a preachy show at all.
No, not at all.
I think I for one don't like shows that lecture to me. I want to leave a show with different viewpoints, different ideas. I want to leave provoked to think about the issue. I don't want to hold how to think about the issue.
Right.
So this show is partly about immigration, but it is not telling anybody how to feel about immigration.
Right. It's not an overwhelming tone.
What it's doing is it's depicting the story of one man, Javier, who has a specific experience as somebody who's seeking asylum. And it's when I wrote it, I actually got on the phone with a friend of mine who's an immigration attorney to sort of to sort of understand what the process is. And I'm also an attorney, so I understood what the legal ramifications for an immigrant might be for certain things happening. So so what I was trying to do was just show the audience this one person and his experience, but it's only one part of the show. It is not the whole show at all. It is his particular, voyage, but Emma has a different voyage, and so does Brittany. So
Can I add to that, Aaron?
So does Carlita. So yeah, go ahead, jump in.
No, it what he says, it really is a love story. The immigration is really more a reaction to something that happened. So it is not at all. And in fact, the character himself, Javier, doesn't really like to talk about it. So it's really not talked about that much until it comes to head in a particular moment, and then that's it.
Right.
So like what Aaron was saying is that it makes you think about it, but it doesn't preach, it doesn't comment, it doesn't do anything other than show how it affects someone at a particular moment in time. Because for the rest of his journey, it really is about a love story with him and Emma, which is very touching, and how that flourishes, and the time that it takes for it to flourish.
And from your lips to our viewers' ears, really truthfully, like, that's just something that, yes, it's something that's a connotation of, but it's not an underlying or overwhelming story.
No.
It's a moment, but it's something that's not really approached in theater nowadays. So it's a unique aspect of it, but it's not a heavy focus on that. And I think that's really key to remember.
Yeah.
Now we're almost wrapping up. We've been talking this almost an hour, which blows my mind because I could do this all day long. Amber, I know you've got at least another question sitting there waiting. I can see.
I do.
Go on.
I would say
kind of dwindled them down.
if you were going to describe the show in 3 words to someone, what would be the 3 words that you would use to get them to want to come see the show?
Can I give one word and then I'll let Caitlin give a word and Alex give a word?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Done. I'm going to use it for next week.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, Heather, I want to know your 3 words too. You're involved in this.
Oh,
That's so hard. I want this show to be fun for people. Ultimately.
Yeah.
I really do. And I wrote it with the intention of it being fun. So, that was my hope, that people would really enjoy it and walk out, like Caitlin said, feeling hopeful.
Right.
So that's my one word. I don't know.
Fun. All right, Alex.
I have 3 words.
Oh, yeah, 3 words. Okay.
So damn entertaining.
Yes.
Love it. Yeah.
It really is.
Thank you.
Really is. It is what it.
If you don't think this is making it to the socials, Alex, you're wrong.
Huh?
I said if you don't think that's going on our socials, you're wrong.
No, it is. I mean, you have every element of a great musical. You have great singing. You have great songs. You have a great book. You're gonna want to dance to the music. You are gonna see dancing. You're gonna fall in love with these characters. You're gonna fall with how sexy the cast is. I mean, it is just so damn entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Caitlin?
Wow, what a pull quote. I can't really top that, can I? Gosh, yeah, I think I will just go with, I know we've already talked about it a lot, but I will go with romantic. Because it really is. It is so fun and it is so hilarious and there's so many, different aspects to it. But I mean, I've been like kicking my feet like, such a girl in rehearsal because of this really exciting love story that we get to watch unfold. And, it's about love in many ways, friendship and, humanity and love of culture and home and all sorts of different types of love. But yeah, I'll go with romantic because it will definitely make you kind of like kick your feet and squeal in the corner like I've been doing.
Like a little evil. Hey, this is so cute.
They blocked a scene the other day and I just giggled and I was like, oh, they're in love now. They're in love.
Oh, love.
Yeah.
I have 2 words, inspirational connections.
Okay.
Because there's so many connections throughout the cast. It is an inspirational story for as a female entrepreneur. And I guess Caitlin can also attest to that. It's really nice to kind of see that portrayed, but the connections that are made and then your thought process afterwards. I'm a huge advocate that when I leave a theater, I don't want to leave a theater bubble just yet. I want to continue the conversation. And I'm really hoping that our show is able to drive that. Then when people leave a theater, they're still talking about it. And not just to promote it, but to talk about it and be like, well, this one scene and this happened and this was really cute. Or like, oh, that was crazy. Like, I want them to still continue that conversation. I think that's really key.
And to promote it too, if they want.
And they can promote it. Yes, absolutely.
We won't say no to that.
We won't turn them down. So to give everybody a friendly reminder where they can find any information besides right here on the podcast, you can go to www.facingsthemusical.com, FACINGS, themusical.com. Yes, this is a musical and it is so damn entertaining. And I love it. We're so excited. We have a great musical director, composers. Like this whole show is so well put together. When you are ready to buy your ticket, which is right now, go to Urban Stages, again, S at the end, .org. So Urban, URBANSTAGES.org. You can find us on Instagram at Facings Musical. You can find us on Facebook at Facings the Musical. Come if you guys have any questions. If you're interested in a ticket, we are so happy to be able to make sure that you were able to access the show and enjoy it and talk about it. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your coworkers, bring your enemies, bring anybody you want. I think we can all learn from the show for sure. Closing statements from our wonderful production team. What do you guys have to say?
Thank you for having me speak about this show and to share some of the things that we have been going through. It's been a very fulfilling and exciting process, and I'm looking forward for your audiences, for actually all of New York City to have a moment to see this great story.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, and thank you for being here, Alex. Aaron, any closing statements?
Just ditto. Thank you, Heather and Amber, so much. It was great to talk about the show with you guys, and we're so excited.
It's only natural for you guys to be on the show because I'm so appreciative to be part of this team. And I really, truly learn every day, how kindness works. And I think that it's so important to convey that through this message. So thank you. Caitlin.
just come see the show. We can't
come see the show.
Yeah, can't wait. And thank you for having us. I appreciate
Of course,
it.
we're so happy to be here with you guys again. Opening night, April 24th. That is next Thursday. Alex, are you ready for that? Okay.
We will be. I just had heart palpitations. Yeah,
I love it. It's great. Urban Stages off of West 30th, 7 p.m. start time. 2.5-ish hours runtime, including intermission. About. Lots of fun little things happening for opening night. Tickets are still available through our Eventbrite link, which we'll also post after the show. So we're so appreciative for you guys. You are all very wonderful. And we will talk to you guys soon. We're going to run our commercial for our awesome sponsor, Broadway Weekends. So you guys are more than welcome to hang out and listen to the wonderful Gina Duvall. But for right now, thank you, Facings the Musical. Thank you for allowing me to be part of the family and for coming on my little family show as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
See you guys later. Bye. Bye-bye. Amber, are we ready to talk about his Broadway Weekends?
Oh, we're ready.
We are ready. I am pulling up Broadway Weekends as we speak because, computer stuff really loves me. We got it. So how are you feeling about Facings the Musical? I want to hear your raw, selling point because you're now in it. You're now in it.
Okay. I love I don't know if you know, but Dirty Dancing Havana Nights is one of my favorite movies in the entire world. So I'm really intrigued by this Latin American love story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really I think it sounds spicy.
Spicy. Is that one of your three letters?
That's one of my 3 words.
Spicy.
I'm
okay.
I want to know more about this spicy love story.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm hoping that when you get out of O'Mary that you can go Friday the 25th.
Yeah.
All right. Let's run what are your other 2 words before I run our commercial?
My other 2 words? I don't know. I haven't seen the show yet.
Okay. Well, as somebody who just got to meet the entire team, give me 1 more.
I told you, spicy and intriguing.
Okay, spicy and intriguing. So intriguingly spicy.
Intriguingly spicy. And yeah, I'm going to lean into the romance bit. Yeah.
Lean into the romance. I mean, that's what life's all about, is just loving ourselves and loving each other and empathizing. All right. And I've got our commercial up for Broadway Weekends. I'm so excited about this partnership. Really, truthfully, it's a good natural fit for us.
Summer camp, Broadway summer camp for adults. Does it get better than that?
Right?
Theatre fantasy camp for adults? Sign me up.
Sign me up.
Broadway Weekends is an immersive summer camp designed and led by Broadway artists. Every year, we bring the magic of the current Tony season to life using material and artists from Broadway's latest shows. This summer, it's happening July 13th to 17th with a 2-day option, July 18th and 19th. We have a 25% discount if you sign up before May 1st.
That's
and if
soon.
you're a public high school theatre teacher, get in touch about some scholarship options. Visit us at www.broadwayweekends.com to learn more, and be sure to mention the Broadway Fan Club when you reach out.
That's us.
Oh, and did I mention? It's founded by me, theatre actress Gina Duvall. See you soon.
I love that commercial because we only did 2 takes of it. It was great. And I could still see Gina doing, make sure you mention this. It was so cute. But yes, go check out Broadway Weekends. Please, please. And come see the show. Come see the damn show, because as to quote Alex Sanchez, it is so damn entertaining. Facingsthemusical.com, urbanstages.org for tickets, at Facings Musical on Instagram, or Facings the Musical on Facebook. And we are going to be putting together some special Facings the Musical bracelets on our Etsy. Hey, check out that. Some podcast merch. Woo, woo, woo. Amber looks she's like, I'm ready to go to sleep. I know it took so much. Yes, bracelets. The Broadway Fan Club.etsy.com. There's like 150 different designs. We can customize anything for you. Go check it out. Go check out the show. If you need anything, we are here. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for making this Tuesday night enjoyable. Thank you so much to Aaron Morrill, Caitlin McNeilage. I'm tired. Alex Sanchez. I'm not trying to yawn in the middle of everyone's name, but this is my day. I had 24 pies to taste today at the American Pie Council's National Pie Championship.
Oh, I feel so bad for you that you had to eat pie all day.
It was chocolate and coconut.
Oh, I'm so sorry that you ate delicious chocolate pie all day.
It's not that easy.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you.
It's not that easy. It's not that easy. But thank you so much to Facings the Musical for letting me be part of their journey. I cannot wait to share more after opening night next week. And we'll be talking all about it the following week. Yeah, we'll do it. Actually, the following Monday, I will be at Swept Away's reunion concert. So we'll do another delayed podcast. We're going to be having lots of White Rabbit episodes this month. It'll be great. Yeah. Amber, thank you. We'll talk about the kitten later, and we hope everybody has a wonderful night. Thanks for joining us again and making our Tuesday wonderful.
I'm going to take my new antibiotic.
Right. Bye.
Bye, everyone.